Hello and Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back, guys, to my world of Insta conversations. Just give a few seconds for you guys to come online. And I'm still not feeling well, guys. I still just weird. I'm just feel off. I think it's just my allergies, and since I didn't take my anti-allergy on time, uh, hence all of this. So just excuse me. I wanted to have a quick conversation with a friend. She was on my live stream not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken, a month or so ago, and she came forward and spoke her story, and I have brought her back in, and this time we're gonna have a different kind of conversation with her. I'm just connecting with her. Hello there.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. You're looking tired?
Yes, I'm still. I think it's just my allergies have just really kicked in, and I didn't take my anti-allergy on time, so now it's gonna take a while before things get
Uh-huh.
into place. How have you been?
Yo, where do I start? I've been very good, hey? Well, ups and downs, but like we said, today we're discussing solutions.
Yes, today we're going to
And
be discussing lots of solutions. And guys, I'm sure you all know that solutions is something I've been really passionately been posting on my page as well. And my friend supports me with it. And she
mhm.
definitely thinks that we need to speak about solutions. But before we move forward, I still want you to do a little introduction for the audience. If they've forgotten you, let's remind them who you are.
Um, Hi guys, this is Gladys. From South Africa, a survivor of everything, mother, an activist, a healer, a friend, a sister, and yeah, a beautiful soul, angel in disguise as well.
Love it. I just love the spirit.
Yeah.
And not just that. Let's just tell the audience, guys, she is popular. I'm telling you, she's going after it. Talk about your interviews. She's all over the place, guys. She's having
I
some
learned from the
awesome
best coach in the
interviews.
world, hey? I learned from the
Yeah.
best coach actually.
So just speak a little bit about which platforms you did go on for your interview, and what were your topics.
I spoke to quite a few people around, um, survivors and coaches as well. We spoke about this mental disease called, or rather disorder, where you lose your sanity, you lose your self-esteem, you get disabled, you lose um, your self-worth, you don't realize who you are. So it's a disorder that is ongoing actually. So
Hmm.
I spoke to, and it affects both men and women, although most of the men don't want to come forward with it. And women, as much as they do come forward, they don't come forward to the right platforms. So we realize that there is a need for a lot of coaches, there is a need for healers, there is a need for a platform, you know. And I believe after I did those interviews that you can never have enough healers, you can never have enough coaches, you can never have enough platforms. And I've realized that a lot of people don't come forward because of fear of the unknown, or because they think so and so is doing it, then why am I going to do it as well? And we don't realize that we are still individuals, we are still uniquely created to make an impact into the world. So if you've got this drive, you've got this passion, you've got this ambition to change the world, start within yourself, around your circles, and therefore everything is just going to fall into place. And before you know it, you would have reached a lot of people. You know, I didn't know that one interview that I did with you will call a lot of people to want to hear my story, you know. And it's so amazing that you think people know so much about mental abuse and yet they don't, because we overlook it or it disguises itself as something else. But if you go forward, then you realize that this is not normal, you know.
Right.
And I think every second person that you meet is going through the same thing that we are going through.
I know what I'm going to say is not relevant to what we're talking, but I have to
Hmm.
say that
Hmm.
right now I'm burning here. I have the air condition on and it's hot, and I'm looking at you wearing uh
It's
uh,
winter
yeah,
here.
I had to point that out. That's so funny because you look at how life has changed and evolved.
Mhm.
It's summer here, it's winter there, and hey, I'm
And you're
connected
thinking,
to
is
you
she
in
crazy? You know, because
yes, and
I'm scared of winter. Like, seriously, I'm not a winter person, you know.
neither am I.
I'm not.
Mm,
But it's funny
mm,
that as people, when we listen to different stories from different people and all over the world, you know, we
mm,
all face the same demon, and we
mm,
have to take charge. And we cannot say, this is happening and this is happening. We need to start preaching. What are we going to do about it? You know, we've already raised the awareness. We know there's a condition that is not normal. Therefore,
mm,
how are we going to change that? How are we going to create an impact? How are we going to unlearn the script? You know, because the
mm.
script that happened before was written for us. It's up to us, this generation, to create our own script. You know, it
And
begins with
right.
us.
Yes, yes, so beautifully said. And when I started my live stream conversations, which is like almost 3 months ago, I never thought at a larger scale what the impact would be. But I've had survivors, and I have tons of survivor stories which I'm working on. I told you, I'll be
Mm-hmm.
posting their codes. Uh, excuse me. And I felt after a couple of survivor stories, I felt that this was really needed, especially with the COVID-19. This was something
Mm-hmm.
that needed to happen. And
Mm-hmm.
not just that, but every survivor that has come forward with their story, whether they have survived, whether they were still in the abuse,
Mm-hmm.
they have left such an impact, not just on me, but all the viewers,
Mm-hmm.
whether they're suffering or whether they're just learning, that it's been amazing and phenomenal. And I feel so thankful, and I feel that God honored me to do this, because my vision was not that big when I started. My vision was, okay, people in my country don't know, and I need to bring people on board from around the globe, and basically therapists. In the beginning, I had therapists and coaches come forward to
Mm-hmm.
spread awareness, because if I bring survivors, people might not listen. So my start was with the therapist, Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Annie,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been phenomenal. And I'm so grateful that today my platform is not just helping spread awareness, but it connects people. So you see, you're on board, and there's so many
Yeah.
people who connect with you after this. So it generates a community, and it gives that support that is lacking within our surrounding. So I think that this is so amazing. And like you said, and you said it so beautifully yourself, that we need more coaches, we need more healers,
Mm-hmm.
because you see, look at how many people out there still need help. That means there is lack of help available out there. So that means, while it's our job to go out and help people, whether we heal them, whether we coach them, whether we counsel them, whether we mentor them, whatever
Mm-hmm.
we can do, and that is so important. And I can tell you one thing, that I've suffered from anxiety, okay? And
Mm-hmm.
I keep on telling the story again and again. I was talking about it yesterday too, but it's because it's so amazing, and it's so relevant, because you see, people suffer from anxiety is something they think they can never overcome it. It's like OCD kind of thing. You can't overcome these things, or depression for that matter. And I felt that I would never be able to get out of my anxiety my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And the amazing part is, COVID-19 came, and my anxiety was over the roof. And now, not only have I controlled my anxiety, alhamdulillah,
Mm-hmm.
I think that the frustration that the anxiety was bringing me with the COVID just busted that bubble for me,
Mm-hmm.
and it removed the fear of living
Mm-hmm.
in fear,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
because the frustration. So you see, what is anxiety? It's living in fear. It's living in fear of this would happen or that would happen. So fear would take over everything. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
basically, I
Mm-hmm.
was living a life of fear. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what happened with COVID-19? The fear took a back seat, and the frustration took a front seat. So the
Mm-hmm.
frustration went really high, and when it went high, it was like, I need to break this anxiety, because you know what? I can't live, because I didn't leave my house for 12 weeks. I did not step out of my home for 12 weeks. I did not even go to my terrace for 12 weeks. And
Wow.
it was something like, my kids were not going and nobody was going out of the house. So I was like, okay, this is taking my sanity, because I need the sun. I miss the sun, and I miss
Mm-hmm.
fresh air. So what am I going to do? Am I going to live in fear because my anxiety takes over everything? Or
Mm-hmm.
am I going to answer my frustration? And it did. It banged, and I answered my frustration, and now I go out, people come in, we do social distancing, of course. We
Mm-hmm.
follow all the guidelines, but I've normalized my anxiety. And I'm telling this story because it's so powerful. And what is
Mm-hmm.
powerful? Not me, not me.
Mm-hmm.
This, your brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is so powerful. It can trick you, it can manipulate you, it can do so many things to you. And for
Mm-hmm.
people listening, I definitely want to say this, since we are talking about solutions. Everything is here. When
Yes.
you say to yourself, I cannot move out of this abusive relationship because of whatever. Remember, those are just excuses that your
Yes.
subconscious mind is programmed to tell you. Your conscious
True.
mind is your intellect. That is what it's
Mm-hmm.
telling you to run. So it's fight or flight mode, okay?
Yes.
So you have to become more self aware, because when
Mm-hmm.
you become self aware, you will sit and you will say, why I want to not be in this relationship. And my friend, it's just not about being in an abusive relationship or being in a narcissist relationship. It's just being in a relationship where it doesn't resonate with your heart. You
Yes.
and I are
Yes.
friends, and let's say you don't click with me, or I don't click with you. It doesn't mean you're bad, doesn't mean I'm bad. It's just that we don't click, our personalities don't click. We don't have to force that friendship, right? We could
Mm-hmm.
respectfully part and wish each other the best, and
Mm-hmm.
that's great. But we force relationships on us because of our insecurities.
Yes.
And we
Yes.
And we need to
Yes.
sit with ourselves and ask ourselves, why do we have that void in our heart? Why do we want a friend to come and fill up that void, or a man, or a relationship, or something to come from
Mm-hmm.
the external environment to fill that void? We need to ask
Mm-hmm.
ourselves these questions. And believe me, it's mind boggling. I'm one of those persons, and I can bring my family on board to tell you that I'm not lying. Is I was the kind of person who didn't like being alone. And when I moved to USA, one of my biggest struggles was I couldn't be alone. You know, life in USA, everybody's busy, everybody's on the go. And I had just
Mm-hmm.
moved there. I had to go through the process and get my paperwork done. So it took me around 2 years to get everything in place. But those 2 years, I hated US. I was like, what kind of life is there? Nobody
Mm-hmm.
talks to anybody. Everybody's really, hello, how are you? That's all they do. And they go in their house. And living there 7 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I know I used to tell my friends, you guys are so weird. You're from Pakistan and you like being by yourself? You're so weird. What happened to our culture? We like meeting. We're sitting all the time with family, and we're
Because
never
human
alone.
yeah, is that
And then
connection, you know?
yes, and then we have that culture, not just being alone. Even in our house, we have so many workers, so we're never
Mm,
basically alone. So I was
yeah.
like, what's wrong with even my community over here? They like being alone. And that is what it taught me. Being alone is okay. Being with yourself is okay. And
Okay. And
yes,
and being alone, it doesn't mean that you're lonely,
yes,
because
exactly.
the thing is, as people, I did it as well, where you trying to find validation,
Mm,
from someone else or for something else or whatever. But at the end of the day, you need to understand that being alone, it doesn't mean lonely. It's okay
mm-hmm,
to be on your own. The thing is,
mm-hmm,
we are so hard as well to ourselves that we do not forgive ourselves. And it's
true.
okay. And the fact that something is okay, it still doesn't make it right. Forgive yourself and be kind to yourself.
Mm,
And you will see things are just going to turn around.
mm,
Things are going to
right.
turn around, and you will see things fitting into the right spaces, because I think I also did that, where I was seeking validation from outside, from something, but that validation, that void that you just spoke about, it will only last for that period. And after that period, you are seeking something else as well. You keep on looking for that thing, that because why? We spoke about self-worth, we spoke about self-awareness, we spoke about self-realization, we spoke about all those things. So we, as people, as the new youth generation, we need to take the baton. It's been passed to us, but we're looking at it like it's there. It's not my problem, it's not my it's not my problem, but it is your problem, because at the end of the day, you're the one that is going to suffer from that you know
Mm,
and I took the first step, and I said, you know what, let me do this. Like what you are doing, it didn't just happen. You thought about it and you decided that, let me do this. And there's a lot of platforms out there, people are talking, but as much as we are talking, in the meantime, what are we doing about it? You need to start within yourself to say, you know what, like you said, you did a 7-day challenge where you have to do something for yourself, because we
mm,
disguise this thing, and I will do something for my wish, but in
mm,
reality, it's me who need to do something for me, not for my wish. If I'm doing it for my wish, I also have to be satisfied with it and said I'm okay
mm,
with it, because again, it's going to go back to that issue to say an abusive relationship is so bad that it makes you feel like you are a nobody. You cannot survive without me. You cannot reach your goals without me. And then it makes you keep on looking. I mean, I'm talking to you, but if I'm going to look that way, I'm not going to hear what you're saying to me. Focus. Be in your lane. Run your own race. Do not compare yourself with anyone. I'm not Moish. You are not Gladys, right? And at the end of the
mm,
day, whether I like it or not, I can never be you. What is given for you and to you, it's what you're supposed to do, not me. I mean, I always make this example that as mothers, we all get pregnant differently. But that
mm,
doesn't mean that when I'm pregnant, you can't celebrate your own pregnancy. Because the other thing that I've noticed is that if there's too many healers, I also want to be a healer. And then I find myself thinking, oh no, there's too many healers. No, there's not. Because if there were
mm,
too many healers, people wouldn't be having the same problem. You know what I mean? So at the end of the
Right.
day, we need to say, why are we here? Why are we doing what we are doing? Find purpose, find the reason, find something, educate yourself, empower yourself, reach out to people, read the books, Google. I mean, the internet is there for that reason. There's connect with your inner self. Connect with your inner self. You can never go wrong because that intuition talks to you and is very powerful, which we ignore most of the time, by the way. It's there. The universe will listen to you. The universe is listening to you, but you have to let go. We spoke about letting go. We hold on to could have been, should have been, would have been. We hold on to memories. We hold on to, yeah, we hold because I think if I'm going to start a life, it's going to be great as yours. It's not because I'm not a live person. I speak behind the scenes. You speak in front of people, you interview people, but both of us are doing the same thing. Why? Because both of us are raising awareness. So how about we both hold each other's hands and said, you know what, May, I'm gonna do this, you're gonna do this, and we run with it. But because of jealousy and insecurities and the fear of the unknown, and because of all those things, people don't reach their true potential. It's about time we start preaching, let us do what we're supposed to be doing. Let us do what we are destined to do. Because healers come in different levels. If I'm a healer in terms of listening, you can be a healer in terms of talking, someone else can be a healer in terms of educating, but we are all doing the same thing. We are all doing the same thing because at the end of the day, we want to save that particular soul. It starts with the confidence. You have to be confident. You have to know why you are doing what we are doing, and continue. We will press until that wall is broken because that wall has been built amongst us, around us, has been built around us to say, you can never. I mean, I don't know how many times we've asked each other to say, but yeah, maybe, can you do this? And we kept on encouraging each other to say, go for it. Go for it. Don't even think about it. Go for it because this world needs Gladys. This world needs Mewish. This world needs so and so. That's why you are here. Find your
So
purpose.
beautiful.
Go out there
So
and do it.
so
That's it.
beautifully said. Right, right. And it is so true. And you said it so beautifully, and I wanted to add to that is, see, this is a part of our religion. So in our religion, and I'm a Muslim, they say that everything that is destined for you is going to reach you, and everything that's not destined for you can be right on the tip of your tongue, and it will still not go where it's supposed to because it was not
Mm-mm.
meant for you. And I've lived my life and I strongly believe this. And you said about jealousy, it's funny because people who are jealous of others are people who are basically insecure about themselves.
Very,
You see,
very insecure.
right? Because you have tons of doctors, pediatricians, for example, for
Yes.
kids, and the doctors are not going out and saying this person is not right or advocating I'm the best. They're just there doing their job and their audience follows them. So they don't need to go out and do anything. They've got the degree, they're sitting in place, and their audience reaches them. So I don't think so. And I personally believe it myself because you see, when I started a few months, not that, maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, when I started speaking about self awareness and really pushing people, and I'm still pushing people, is because if you truly become self aware, you actually have no time for anybody because you
No.
have so much of work on yourself. You're working day in and day out towards bettering yourself, learning from your past experiences, learning from your trauma, learning and identifying your flaws, learning and identifying where you're wrong, and putting yourself right. Because you see, when you become self-aware, then it is you go back and you relive that relationship and you see why you were wrong. You see, let's say, for example, let's speak about abuse since that's our core subject. So abuse, when you go revisit that moment when you were abused, when you're in a victim state, you are saying, why me? Okay? And you're crying out to God, you're crying out to people, you're crying out to yourself, feeling that you need validation and you need that support and you need the external sympathy, right? But when you
Mm-hmm.
become
Mm-hmm.
self aware and you revisit that situation, you then realize and you ask yourself this question: why did I let that person abuse me? Why? And then you ask yourself those hard, uncomfortable questions. And then you see the reality of yourself. And then you go in the mirror and you tell yourself, you know what? I'm not a saint. You know what? There is a lot I need to fix in myself. Because you see, and then again, I bring it to faith, because in our faith, they say that, of course, the oppressor is going to be punished, but God is going to ask the oppressed, why
Mm-hmm.
did you stay in that state? So, for anybody who is not happy in an abusive relationship, not happy in any situation, even in a job for that matter, ask yourself, why are you stuck there? What is stopping you? What is your limiting belief? What? Because it's going to come back right at you. You will never have time ever once you do self, and it takes a toll on you. Trust me, it takes a toll on you.
It
Get
does. It
exhausted.
does.
You get exhausted, and then you make notes, and then you're like, oh my goodness. And then the way you meet people, the way you interact with people, it's so different, because you're so that how you're going to conduct yourself, you know how you're going to speak, because now you're more focused on yourself. You are not focused on the environment around you. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that is so important for everybody. There is a difference between being a victim when you are in that state that you nobody, and I'm not trying to advocate that what you feel is not valid. It's valid. The
It
abuse is
is.
valid.
It
Being
is.
abused is valid. But that is
Your
just one
story is
side of the
valid.
story.
Your pain is valid.
Yes. But that's just one side of the story. The other side is when you become more aware of it, because you see, once you become aware of it won't happen again, because you break that cycle, you break that pattern for yourself. And when you put yourself out there again, you won't be in the same frame of mind. So when you realize that, okay, I'm the victim, okay, fine, all of the things that I'm saying are valid, let's take the next step. And the next step is self-awareness. I start working on myself. You work,
Mm-hmm.
you heal, and then you take the next step. You go out in the world, and when you go out in the world, you will know you've transformed. You will know that
Mm-hmm.
you have changed,
Mm-hmm.
and
Because
and
you
you will
see,
be a new person.
the other thing is I find very annoying for me is that if you've got a flu and I go to a doctor and he gives me antibiotics, they're not going to work for you because you've got flu. You don't need antibiotics. So we need to know what is it that I'm treating for myself. So
Mm-hmm,
if, because a lot of times we don't get successful because we are competing with each other negatively
mm-hmm,
instead of competing to uplift each other and pull each other up. We're competing to show off our skill because I want you to be successful, but I don't want you to be successful more than me. Therefore, I'm going to try and close other doors for you so that you don't get to my level. And that's a society that we live in, unfortunately. And we need to break that and say, if I'm going to um, give you all the information that you need, I'm not losing anything. I'm not losing anything because my job, remember, is to empower you. My job is to help you. So therefore, I don't find a doctor that is holding you hostage because you're getting better and he's sitting in an office because his job is to heal you.
mm-hmm.
Nothing else but to make sure that you are healed. But this jealousy thing, we have to, I don't know how we can actually deal with it because it really is toxic in
Self-awareness.
every, yes,
Self-awareness.
every relationship from dysfunctional parents to
Mm.
dysfunctional kids to dysfunctional partners like jobs and everything.
It's
We
the
spoke about
conditioning.
it,
Gladys, it's the
because
conditioning. You see, it's a society's conditioning. You're conditioned from a very young age,
yes,
through social media,
yes,
through even your teaching. I'm sorry to say, even our,
yes,
our our teaching structure. You see, when you're in class, you there's this competitions that go on, and then this kid is number one. This is unhealthy. This should not Kids should not be brought up in such ways where they feel animosity, or this kid is ahead, and where teachers brag about a special kid who's genius in the class and saying, oh, you are not like him. You're ingraining things in kids which
Yes.
they don't have. Kids are not born with jealousy. They're
No.
not born with, you know.
So it's
And
us who's the problem. It's us, because the other thing
yes.
is, as much as we're trying to help people, you also have to distinguish between helping people and let people walk all over you. You also setting
Hmm.
the boundary, because also there are people that will text you and take everything away from you, not to use it positively, by the way, just to make sure that your cup is empty. So you must also draw that line to say, as much as I'm going to help you, my limit will end here, and make
Hmm.
sure that you can't expect to be treated like $1 million baby while you're behaving like a $40 baby. There's a huge difference there. So
Hmm.
what standards? You just spoke about standards. Raise your standards and live with them. To say,
Hmm.
I may wish I can only take so much. I cannot take so much. You're creating a boundary, because sometimes I let people take advantage of me for a very long time. And by the
Hmm.
time I started to set a boundary, I became an enemy, because they don't understand that. I let them. I took responsibility for that, because I'm not saying all abusers is you give them permission, but if you stop the abuse from the minute it starts, it won't continue. But you let it unknowingly, that you're allowing it, because they apologize, they do things.
Stop. I tell you, stop the supply. Stop the supply.
Yes,
When you keep on
stop
starving it
them.
enough, it will stop growing.
Yes,
We are
stop
part
them.
of the problem. We are part
We
of the
are.
problem. We
Unfortunately, we
need to
are.
stop. Yes, we are. And let me tell you on this. Remember, uh, when you said raise your standards, and I'm giving example of you and me, guys. I met her through this platform, and we become such good friends, and we're always there to support each other. And I never feel a negative vibe from her when I'm texting. I don't talk to her much, but whenever I text her, the message is full of love and support. And we were really connected with each other after our first conversation on this
Interaction,
platform.
yes.
And then it just took a dip where there was no communication, and she reached out and she's like, hey, are you okay? You're okay? And then I was like, yeah. And it took me a while to get back to her, and then I had to give her an, oh, and she was like, hey girl, you don't need to explain anything. It's okay.
No.
And she respected the fact, like I'm saying, and like she's saying, raise your standard. She understood that she is my friend, and there are going to be days that she's going to be available 24/7, and there are going to be
Mm-hmm.
days she might be gone for a week and you don't know where the hell she is. So you see, that's what self-awareness does. She understood me in just what, 2-3 weeks, I would say, right?
Yes.
and we
Yeah.
and we never had that uh uncomfortableness or that feeling like, oh, she's neglecting me, or those kind of things. Well, we usually, we're adults, we don't feel that, but I'm just saying in general it does happen. It
Mm-hmm.
still happens with adults. So when you become self-aware, you're respecting your boundaries. So you reached
Yes.
out and you didn't get a response. You respected it to a fact where you told yourself, when she has time, she'll get back to me. It didn't bother you. It didn't take out the energy from you where you were just absorbed with it. And when I reached back, it was just like we picked off from where we left. That's the kind of
No.
mindset we need to have. Healthy
I've got,
mindset.
I've got this other friend, and her name is Tando, right? She's Yesterday I was studying, and she phoned me. And because I had to set the boundary with her, and I'm like, okay, I'm studying. And afterwards, then I texted, and I'm like, I apologize because you wanted to reach out to me. And the first thing that she said to me was like, why are you apologizing?
Hmm.
And I'm like, no, but I tried to justify it and said, no, but I'm apologizing because you phoned me. And she's like, yeah, but you're studying. Why? Because as people, when you let your abuser continue, is that you keep on apologizing for something that you
Apologizing.
do. So we set the
Hmm.
boundaries to say, I can only do so much. If right now I feel I don't want to talk to you, it's over. It's over. I'll politely tell
Hmm.
you, Manish, now I need to go. And if you don't respect my boundaries, you're going to take offense to that. But if you respect my boundaries, you're going to understand that now I have to go. Like you said, that when we met, there were times where we couldn't talk to each other every day, but you knew I was there, I knew you were there. So us doing this, because we'll post this video constantly, because there's other people that probably can't connect or they're busy with something. It's okay. It's not about
It's
how many people are watching. It's the fact that this video is going to be circulated amongst everyone that I know and everyone that you know, to say this is what we are talking about. How do you relate when someone is intimidating you? Do you shut them down? Do you kill their dreams? Do you stop them? Or do you continue in learning from them? How do they become so confident? Because I feel like you just said that if you are confident enough, nothing is going to dampen your spirit, because you know who
right,
you are.
exactly.
So we're gonna raise this self-awareness until people know. And I know we might not reach everyone out there, but at the end of the day, those that we're going to reach, it's okay. We're going to reach you. We're going to try and change the script. We're going to try and move in a different directions, because this is a huge movement. This is a huge movement where there are people sitting out there and they can't say anything about it. They can't talk because they're scared, and we have to kill that fear. What is it that you are scared of? Because, like you said, it starts in the mind. Your mind tells you you're not going to do it, Mawish. Look at so and so is doing it better than you. Why do you do that to yourself? Why do you do that to yourself? Don't you think you are good enough? Because you are good enough. With or without the audience, you are good enough. And whatever that you're
Hell
doing,
yes.
who are you doing it for? Who are you doing it for? Because if you're doing it for yourself, you'll be content with it. It's not about, because again, if there's people with X number K of followers on Instagram. Are those people genuine enough for you? Or are they there because they want to destroy you? You have to look at that as well, to say, okay, there we go. Because at the end of the
Hello
day,
there.
there's Tanda.
Somebody
Hi,
said,
Tanda. Because she's the one that I was talking about, that
oh,
she
okay,
told
okay.
to say, why are you apologizing? Because we were told apologize when you're wrong. But sometimes you don't apologize because you're wrong. You apologize because this other person made an effort to reach out to you. But also, if you're going to keep on apologizing, therefore, people are going to start to say, okay, now you're apologizing, they're going to take advantage of that.
Right.
Hence, you have to draw the line and said, I can only do so much. I can only do so much. This I can do, that I cannot do. This I can do, that I cannot do. Therefore, you're moving forward with a clear conscience to say, there's things that I can't do, and it's okay with that. There's things that I can't eat, and it's okay with it. There's things that I cannot wear. I'm okay with it. There's crowds that I cannot follow. It's okay with it. Be okay with who you are, and you are enough as you are.
Exactly.
Because if
Yes.
I were to change anything about my life, I wouldn't change a thing. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here if I didn't have to go through what I went through. I wouldn't be
So
who I
true.
am.
That is so true. And I said something similar to that too, to somebody that I would. And this is funny because I was sitting with my friend, and this is 2017 in Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
and I was sitting in her apartment, and she was like, "Hey, Mavish, tell me something." Just out of, we were just sitting, we're just girls sitting, having a nice chit chat, and she's my best friend, and she goes like, "If you could go back, if you could go back and change your life, what would you change?" And she was sitting there in all awe that I'm going to come up with this dreamy kind of story and something. And at that time, I had no self-awareness. I had nothing. I had no vision of my future and nothing. And I just said, I won't change anything. And she
Mm-hmm.
looked at me like, she's so stupid, kind of look. And she's like, why? Why won't you change? God is giving you the opportunity to change your life. You go back and you change. Why won't you? And 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 it's mind-boggling because at that time I wasn't anywhere emotionally where I was happy for myself with myself. And I said, you know what? I won't want to change anything because where I am today, I'm happy. And it struck me recently again. I was doing this live stream with somebody, and I said the same thing. But now I say it because today I see I've changed, I've evolved, I've learned, and I've grown, and I'm growing. So that is why I wouldn't want to change. When I revisit that story, I don't know what I was thinking, but something in my heart told me that you're on the right track.
Yes.
And and I just want to say that God doesn't put you through something that he doesn't know you won't pass a test. So
Yes.
your journey, if I was to walk in your journey, I would fail. That is why I'm
Yes.
not in your journey. You are not in
Exactly.
my journey because so your success or somebody else's success will never should not influence me because
Mhm.
our life is different, our situations are different, our experience are different,
Correct.
and people who get caught up in that just destroy their own worth because they get nothing out of it, because what you give
Mhm.
out is what you're going to get back. And I
Mhm.
believe that strongly. If you are there to spite or hurt someone, it's eventually going to come back to you. And
Correct.
there's no good in it. Just imagine, I was trying to teach my daughter, and I was telling her, just imagine you have a jealousy towards somebody. Does that person know that? No, they don't. So imagine you living in that state of mind. For who?
Mhm.
What the hell's wrong with you? And she's like, Mama, I said, just imagine this. That she was playing on her iPad and she got pissed off, and I said, listen, the person across the screen doesn't know you. It's just some
Mhm.
random person you play, and you're so pissed off. That person doesn't even care, and they probably
About
continue to live their life. But look at you, you're just sitting here and you're sulking. For who? They're not worth it, girlfriend. And I call my daughter girlfriend. I say, they're not worth it. So smile, be happy, and carry on. So we should not have time for any negativity. Send positivity out.
mm,
And like
mm,
we started this session, and I just want to wrap up now. And like I we started this session, it's
mhm.
it's all here. What you create here is what you project through your words, through
Sure.
your actions, through your body language. And I was giving this example again to my daughter today in the evening. And it is, and I told her, look around you. What do you see? And she said, Mom, I see a bed, I see a table, I see the light, I see the air conditioner, I see the fan. So she described everything. And I said, stop now.
Mhm.
I said, everything in this room is the biggest example of your life, because now look, this fan was a thought in somebody's mind, and
Yes.
they
Yes.
brought it to action. So your
Yes.
thought becomes who you are.
Yes.
Now we're grateful for that fan. Now we're grateful
Yes.
for that light. Now we're grateful for this bed. Now we're grateful for the air condition. This was all those people who had a thought, and they believed in their thought,
Mhm.
and they brought
Mhm.
it forward with action. There are tons of brands out there with air conditioners
Started with
and
the
with
thought. Yeah.
fans, and they're all doing brilliantly because they believe in their brand, they believe in themselves, they believe what they're giving is going to serve the audience. So you should not have any time for anything else. And that again comes back to self awareness. If you're
Yes.
self aware, your confidence is going to come up. And
Yes.
when your confidence is going to come up, your surrounding is not going to affect or stop you. You're going
Mhm.
to go after it. And my friend, you have seen my name was Mavish, I am enough, and now I changed
Yes.
it because now I feel a
I
change.
saw
I'm
that. I saw
unstoppable.
that.
I'm
I saw
unstoppable.
that.
And I'll
I
tell you
saw
something.
that.
I didn't tell you this. I'll tell you this today, and my audience as well. When I started this page, my name was Mavish the Survivor. Okay, so from the
Mm.
survivor mode, it came to I'm enough mode, to came to the unstoppable mode, and it's
Yes.
not stopped me from changing my name on the platform because it resonates with who I am, and that's okay. And I was with a coach, and he goes, "You're the kind of person who can change. You have tons of emotions in it." And I said, well, I think most of the women are like that. But he said, no, you have a lot of emotions, so your emotion go this and that, and that's something you're not in harmony with about yourself. And I said, no, because I'm happy, and then I'm so tired right now, kind of thing. And he said, be in harmony with that, And once you become in harmony with your emotions, you will see how well you will come forward with it. That's why I say, you read on my post and we discussed, sit through
Mm-hmm.
your emotions. Because when you suppress it, that's the problem. When you sit through them, they help you navigate your life. And on that, my friend, your final beautiful words for the audience.
Wake up with a grateful heart. At least when you wake up, before you do anything, say two things that you are grateful for. Two things every single day. Two things. If you need to repeat it for 7 days, do it. If you have to change everything that you're grateful for every day before you do anything, before you even leave your bed, just say two things that you're grateful for, and you see your life is changing. And now Gladys is going to be Gladys. I see you, and you're not alone. I see you. From being a survivor as well, I see you, and I acknowledge
Wow.
you, and we are in this
Wow.
together.
Wow. Wow. I send you virtual hugs from here on those beautiful, beautiful words, my friend. Mwah. Guys, you heard her. You heard her. When we go off, I don't know what time zone you are on. Take a minute, close your eyes, and think of what are you grateful for. And she
For
is 100% true. It is gonna go such a long way for you. It's just here.
yes.
When this negative switch is turned off and the positive switch is turned on, your life is gonna change in so many words. And just one thing she's saying, one thing, guys, gratitude. Two things. I'm sure you can come up with lots of things if you
So
really look at
many
it.
things.
She just asked for two things. Two things for you truly grateful. And when she's saying that, she is meaning that you actually, because when you will be grateful, you'll feel it. You'll breathe and you'll be, yes, I'm so grateful for this. So your
Yes.
breath, the way you breathe will be in line with your gratitude. And once you breathe that air and you throw it to the universe is going to send you back so much of good. You
And
are
celebrate
surrounded with
people that are
energy, so
successful.
send positive
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah. And celebrate people that are successful. It won't take anything
Yes.
away from you. You're not gonna lose a hand, you're not gonna lose a feet, you're not gonna lose your soul. Just say congratulations. If someone is leaving
Exactly.
a gym, ask them how they do it. They'll give you tips. Don't be
Of
jealous
course.
because someone is doing better than you. Congratulate
You
them.
can
It
never
doesn't
be
take.
doing better than any of you cannot be nobody can be doing better because everybody's going through learning. And if you want to succeed, you're going to learn and grow every single day, and you're going to learn from every good and bad in your life. So yeah, just grow and grow within yourself and in with your surrounding, right?
Mhm. Yes. And we are in
Thank you
this
so
together.
much. Yes, thank you so much once again for coming forward on such a short notice.
No, Titi. I had to get my
And
chocolate after that. I was like, I need a chocolate.
and take care of yourself. We'll stay connected. Guys, like always, I will again be tagging her after our conversation. Reach out
Mm-hmm.
to her, connect with her. Let's support each other. Let's promote
Yes.
each other. And
Mm-hmm.
if we could all do that, I think we will have a better tomorrow. And on that
Yes.
note, take care, everybody. Bye bye.